practice, we're just observing. We're just checking in to see where we're at. Observations without judgment. Then we'll begin the movement portion of class, asana, yoga poses, functional movement, joint resiliency, lymphatic shaking, and then we'll end with a nice long shavasana, final relaxation pose. I'll play some singing bowls for you and lead you through that. So everything that I lead you through is an invitation. Don't get hung up on how it looks. Mostly focus on how it feels. Do your best to align your body the way I'm leading you through it, but don't get too hung up on, like I said, how it looks. It doesn't have to look the way it looks in my body or anything like that. So let's come to a comfortable seated position. If you're seated on the floor, you could sit cross-legged. And if it's okay if your knees don't reach the ground, but if this brings any pain to your lower back, you could always sit on top of a block or a pillow, and that'll get your hips a little higher than your knees. That should help relieve any pain in your lower back, or some of the pressure anyway. Even if you're seated up in a chair, you can just sit with your heart up over your hips, head over heart. If you are in a chair, you just want to slide forward a bit so you're not actually pressing up against the back of the chair. Hands come to rest on the knees, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel that you've got a little extra to give today. Good morning, Zuda. You made it just in time for meditation. Eyes can close here if that's comfortable, if not, lowering them to a soft gaze just beyond your legs. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. Deep breaths in through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh through the mouth, shoulders drop away. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available, returning to a natural breath's pace. And take a moment here just to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this moment. Here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. There may be sounds in the distance. Or sounds close by. Allowing them all in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. Begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. And taking note to work into these places that call out for your attention throughout your movement practice here today. And shifting that attention from the body, Annamaya Kosha, up to the energetic level, Pranamaya Kosha. Notice where you're at in this moment on a scale of 1 to 10 energetically. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl back into bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. Bring the attention to the breath. No need to change it, just observe. Inhalations, exhalations, whatever space in between. Bringing the awareness up to Manomaya Kosha, the mind. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely. And observe them from a distance. No need to engage. Like a movie being projected onto a screen, the storyline goes on without our direct participation. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. We'll bring the attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in through the nose, filling the belly. Belly expands like a balloon being inflated. And every exhale draws belly button towards spine, letting something more go. Inhaling to expand, deep breath into the belly. And exhale to contract, belly button pulls in towards spine. And here we'll layer on our Ujjayi Pranayam, victorious breath we've been working with all month, by bringing a slight constriction to the throat, so much so that you can actually hear your breath, especially on the exhale, like the sounds of the ocean, waves lapping up to shore. You can also imagine it's like a mirror just in front of your face and you're trying to fog up the glass, just using the breath from your nose. Still, they're deep, full breaths, nice and slow and smooth. Keep the muscles in the jaw and mouth relaxed. Keep the space between the eyebrows broad. When the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. And on your next exhale, releasing any constriction from the throat, any effort from the breath, returning to a natural breath's pace, perhaps affected by that breathing technique. And bring your hands to meet at heart center, Anjali Mudra, no space between the fingers and the thumbs press into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice, your reason for showing up to the mat today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited, of course, to chant along with me. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap. Chin drops towards chest. Then inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. And left ear rolls towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side. Allowing movement back into the body here. The next time your head rolls over right ear over right shoulder, We'll take the right hand and drop it on top of the left side of the head. No need to pull, just the weight's enough. Left arm reaches away and gently floats down till the fingertips are grazing the floor. So reaching in this opposite angle. You can give the head a little nod, yes, to find where the sweetest part of that stretch is. Still full deep breathing here, in and out through the nose. We'll release the hands back down to the lap, chin rolls down through center until left ear's over left shoulder. Right hand comes to land on top of the right side of the head. No pulling, just the weight of the arm is enough. Right arm reaches away. We'll gently float this hand down until fingertips are just grazing. I'm still actively reaching away, though this is a gentle, it's quite a deep stretch for these upper back and neck muscles, the trapezius muscles. Make sure this left shoulder is melted away. You can give your head a little nod, yes, to find the location in the neck that best serves you for this stretch, for this side. We'll release the hands to the lap, chin rolls back through center, then bring it up to neutral. We'll begin to roll the shoulders forward. So we need to open up the space in the upper back and between the shoulder blades. Your eyes can still be closed for this part, so you know what to do. We'll roll the shoulders back now, opening the space in the chest. Nice. And then we'll roll out. We'll begin with our neck rolls here. So we'll turn to the side so you can see actually what it looks like. We're still seated up tall. From the shoulders down, there's stillness. Just the head and neck are going to move for this. Chin tucks down towards chest. And bring the head forward. So we're leading with the nose all the way down, all the way forward, all the way up, back, and then chin tucks back down towards chest. Just smoothing this movement out. And still breathing fully. We're working to open up new spaces in our cervical spine and our necks. Trying to get each vertebra to move independently and freely. And change directions. Up. Now we're leading with the chin, head towards sky, forward, 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 and down. And then chin pulls back in. Back to center at the end of your next round. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale over to the right. Left arm reaches over, and then left arm draws a big circle in front of the body. Right arm follows, sort of sweeping. big circles to the right. So it's a little bit of free movement. This is the general directions of it, but you're kind of moving in the way that's going to work for your body. We're just waking up the spine. There's really no wrong answers here. At your own pace. Then we'll change directions. So sweeping over to the left, reaching with the right arm. We'll lead with the right arm now. It sweeps in front of the body, drawing a big circle. Left arm follows. This is just a nice free form movement to begin to warm up the shoulders, the spine, of course, the hips. As always, if there's something in your body that called out during that body scan, during any of these beginning warm-up movements, just drop them in the comments and I'll make sure to add a pose or a sequence that addresses whatever body part you'd like to stretch up today, or pose you'd like to work towards perhaps. Next time the arms are up overhead, we'll bend in the elbows, bring the hands to ear height, and give the hands a wave. Warming up the hands and wrists here. All the muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Then palms flip down, fingers wiggle side to side. So this is great if you're in the middle of your work day as well and your hands just need a break. Or sometimes you just need a mental break, but giving yourself something physical to do that's healthier than smoking a cigarette or something, or like scrolling on social media. This hand sequence can be really helpful. It's just a couple minutes long and it helps reset some of that carpal tunnel building energy of repetitive small movements. So we'll flip the hands up. It's like you're trying to get your fingernails to your forearm. So we're really reaching back, fingers spread wide, and we're rotating here. So the elbows aren't doing anything, shoulders aren't doing anything, just the wrists and hands are moving here. The entire time I'm really reaching back with my fingertips. So this can actually feel fatiguing if you're doing it full force. Just remember to keep breathing. And then just shaking off water. Three, two, one. All right. Let's extend the legs out in front if you haven't already, and bring some movement into the lower legs. I have a dog behind me. We're going to spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Love, you're right on my mat. Change directions of the roll. I'm just waking up my lower legs, ankles, and feet here. Oh, my calves are so tight. Man, I did a lot of jumping yesterday. Okay. Bend in the knees, feet come nice and wide, like mat's distance apart. And we'll just drop the knees from left to right. And we'll squeeze back a little bit. There you go. All right. So my feet are far enough apart that when my knees drop, they actually do touch the ground, or at least have space to. You are now my captive. She likes it. The next time my knees fall down to the right, I'm going to keep my right hand down on the ground, close to my hip. Left arm sweeps up. Let's see if she knocks me over. And then the hips, chest rise. As the left arm sweeps up, we're going to lift the hips off the ground. Exhaling, hips touch down. Bring the knees over to the left. Right arm sweeps up. Let me press the hips forward. So I really want to be feeling like an opening in these in this right hip flexor, in my abdominal muscles. Exhale, switches sides. Hips touch down, knees fall over to the right. lift with the inhale. So as you inhale, you should feel your ribs expanding, opening that space between the ribs. The other side, inhale to rise. We got one more to each side. We're connecting the breath with the movement here. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to change sides. And next time the knees fall over to the right with the hips on the ground. We'll do a little strengthening here. So I'm going to do my best to keep my shoulders up over my hips. I'm not perfect at this, but that's why we practice, right? And then I'm going to try and get my ankle and my knee to lift at the same time. Yeah. So I'm just engaging this outer part of my muscle to lift and lower. So if this is like really, really difficult and you can't quite get it up, just bring your chest a little bit further away, and that's going to give you the space to play with this. That's why the further upright you are, the more difficult it is. So you always want to get right up to the edge of your difficulty. Like, okay, if I'm here, I can't do it. Like, I can get my knee up but not my ankle. If I'm here, it's really easy. So I want to be closer to the I can't do it than the it's really easy. So I'm like, oh, right up against that edge. So we have some challenge, but it's not impossible. 3, 2, 1. All right. Good job. Let's bring our hands to frame this front foot. Inhale, the chest opens. On the exhale, we're just going to wave forward. Belly, chest, head. And just allow the head to land down. Stacked fists or hands. I'm just giving this right butt cheek and hip a little bit of a stretch. Just nice and passive. Every exhale is an opportunity to relax your body even more by releasing some tension that no longer serves you. Perhaps some grinding in the teeth, or some pressure in the shoulders. Press our hands back into the ground, coming back upright. With the hands still framing this right knee, let's press it up to a low lunge. So all I did was lift my hips. Now I'm on my knees and I'm going to step this right foot between the hands, closer to my right hand than my left. Left toes tuck under. I'm extending this leg straight. I'm scooting it back so that there's space. The right knee stays over the right ankle, and I can extend my left leg all the way long. Just bringing it forward and back, giving a stretch to that left calf muscle. And at that, I'm pressing back through the heel, pressing forward with the hips. And let the knees come down, untuck the toes, and press the top of the foot into the ground so hard that I can lift the knee. So I'm stretching out the ankle here, gently pressing the knee up and lowering it down. We'll hold it up for a breath. Then release the knee down to the mat. And I'll bring the shoulders up over the hips. So my hips are really pressing down and forward here. Still, my knee is over the ankle. And I can press the top of the foot, the shoelace part of the foot, a little bit harder into the ground. to get an even deeper stretch in this hip flexor, in this top of the thigh. So you don't want to be so deep into it that it takes your breath away. If that's the case, press harder into your front foot to get a bit out. But you do want to find that edge. Right? So past the edge takes your breath away. Don't want to be there. But too far away and it's easy and it's becoming boring, then you want to keep that like interest. That like, okay, how hard can I push against this edge? And just learn that. It's not good or bad or anything like that. Arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, shoulders drop away from the ears. Got one more breath here. We'll release the hands to the inside of the right foot. Walk the hands towards the long side of the mat, and then both toes turn to face the long side of the mat too. So I'm lifted off my heel for a yogi toe stand, half yogi toe stand. My thighs parallel to the floor. So it's like a deep side squat. Maybe this foot turns towards the sky. So I'm pressing into my heel, getting a deep stretch in this inner and lower leg. And then we can play here with some balance. So this is a variation of Skandasana. To balance, you might bring hands to heart center. A deep stretch for this right foot as well as all of your weight is on there. You can bring some of the weight by pressing into the heel if you have the flexibility in the leg. That's kind of the trick. One more deep breath here. Hey, sorry I'm late, but I got stuck on a problem at work and lost track of time. Oh, no worries, you're here now. I hope you were able to figure out that work problem. All right, so let's release our hands back down to the mat. Now we're gonna drop the toes towards the long side of the mat, and with this, bring the foot in, knee towards this right hand, and the foot is towards the left hand. So I'm not touching it. My foot doesn't reach. Oh, you did. Good, I'm glad. And then walk this left foot back to keep the hips nice and square. Untuck the toes. You can press the foot into the ground just a little bit to get the knee off, adjusting as we set up for a pigeon pose. We have tall pigeon pose here today. So we're on tips of the fingers, left hips really pressing forward. So we're working on stretching like the lower abdominals today and opening up the hips. Shoulder blades can squeeze together for this proud pigeon pose. We're breathing here. If you've got the space to play in this front left thigh, you can start tucking the toe under and bringing the foot up. So slowly. You can put some weight on the right hand. Try not to roll over onto your butt cheek, keeping the hips square. Be taking this left hand to reach back. You might be able to catch a grip. If that's the case, you can begin to bring the foot in. You should feel a really deep front thigh stretch as the foot comes in towards the hips. Just mindful of this knee, because you want to feel the stretch on the belly of the muscle, the middle of the thigh, not actually on the knee. The knee should not be involved, just be holding in place here. If you got a lot of space to play, or a lot more space to play, I want to play with some balance. We're still pressing forward with this left hip. Right hip's pulling back. this front arm, this right arm, can reach up and over, hooking the foot with the elbow. And it's called mermaid pose. I don't know what the Sanskrit's for it. I'm sure it's not called mermaid pose in like ancient yoga or anything like that. But it's pretty, all my yoga kids really love this posture. Just mindful, it's really easy to fall onto your right butt cheek here. But what you actually want to happen is your hips stay square in a pigeon pose formation. So this is a bit of a nice stretch on this left pectoral muscle too, on the chest. And then we release, we want to avoid the slingshot out. So you can gently release that. You just don't want anything to slam down or anything like that. Now we are going to sit down onto this right butt cheek and actually take the left leg and cross it all the way over onto the outside of the right knee. And I'm going to try and get this left hip sits bone onto the ground. So I'm trying to get both of my sits bones onto the ground. You can grab hands onto the knee to get nice and tall. Left hand comes to land on the ground close to your lower back. We'll inhale, right arm sweeps up overhead. Exhale, we twist to the left. So we're hooking elbow with knee or hugging around the knee. Either way. I like hooking. If you have the space to hook, that's my recommendation, because then I can use that as leverage to press back. Like, pressing back is easier for me than pulling in. My triceps are stronger than my biceps. I'm not really sure why, but for me it's easier to press back than to pull in. As I press this back, I also, to bring this shoulder forward, I'm pressing the left shoulder back, opening my chest towards the long end of the mat. Imagine your spine like a spiral staircase, turning from base to crown. Don't get too hung up on how deep the neck turns. There's better neck twisting postures. This is called Matsundrasana spinal twist. So we're just really worried about, we're really focusing on the space between the hips and the shoulders. We got one more deep breath here. Then we're going to release. Gently, the hands come to the opposite side. You don't have to turn. I'm just going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. Hands release onto the other side. I'm not actively twisting. It's just a passive twist in the opposite direction. Okay. So we'll uncross the legs, back to the center part, dropping knees side to side. Slow free movement. Greg, how are you? Hello, my friend. It's been a while. I know I changed my class schedule, so it's been a bit of adjusting for everybody. All right, so the knees are fallen over to the left. Stag pose, so make sure there's space where both knees can touch the ground. We're going to stay as tall as we can in center, and then begin to lift this back leg with the knee and ankle coming up at the same time. I was on vacation for a bit as well. Oh, where did you go on vacation? That sounds lovely. With your family? Or was it a vacation by yourself? I'm sure either way it was great. So we're engaging this gluteus medius, this outer muscle, to the beach. Cool. That's lovely. Yeah, with the fam. That's awesome. I'm sure your toddler loved it. So we're just doing this with control. Just remember, if you're not able to get up at all, you can always lean forward a bit more. And if you're like, oh, I could do like 25 with these, bring it back to the point where you could do 10. You know? It's like adding weight to your strength training. We use our own body's leverage and counterweights to our advantage. It was very relaxing. I caught up on sleep. It was nice. Oh, yes. Catching up on sleep is so important. Just got 3, 2, 1. Good, I'm glad to hear. Sleep. It's really important to catch up on sleep, and I know you definitely deserve it. Hands come to frame. This left knee. On an inhale, chest opens up and lifts. And exhale, we wave down. Belly, chest, head. Head comes to land on stacked fists or the ground. And we're just giving this left hip glute a passive stretch with 2 deep breaths. In this short amount of time, just notice how much you can relax into the posture. And we'll press hands into the ground to come back up right. Okay. So then hands press into the ground. We're lifting the hips to come onto the knees. Just an easy lift. Left foot steps up between the hands. We're coming into our lunge. Tuck the right toes under. And then scoot this foot back, so that you can keep the left knee over the ankle and still extend the right leg long. Excuse me. And here, we'll begin to just rock forward and back, giving that calf muscle, that back calf muscle, a stretch. All right. So we're just pressing the right heel back, pressing the chest forward, letting the hips sink a bit. Runner's lunge, and then gently release the knee to the mat, untuck the toes, and we'll press the tops of the feet into the ground so hard, the tops of the right foot into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. And this is where we're going between knee gently released and knee lifted. This is a deep foot and ankle stretch. And you'll also begin to feel it on this front right thigh before we go into the deeper static poses. So a static stretch is a stretch that's in stillness versus a dynamic stretch is this, kind of like pulsing between one and the other, one movement and the other. So the next time the knee presses up, we'll hold it there for a breath, really pressing down through the foot. We'll release the knee to the mat. We'll bring the chest up over the hips. Just checking in again. See my knee slid a bit forward, so I just brought it back a little to keep it stacked over the ankle. Hands can even be on the hips. We really want to be pressing this right hip down, pulling the left hip back. If this is like sharply painful, you just want to press into this left foot and bring the knee in a bit. So you're setting the hips up and back, more like a marriage proposal pose. So you want to find your edge once again. That edge of right where the edge of your flexibility is, where you're pushing yourself and it's challenging, but it's not taking your breath away. Anjani asana, low lunge. Arms come up overhead. Notice bringing the arms up over the head brings more weight onto the hips. So we're just mindful of that, just full breath here. And the exhale, hands release down to the inside of this left foot. Then we're gonna walk the hands forward and bring both feet's toes with you. So, toes are facing the long end of the mat, and I'm gonna lift up off of this left heel. So I'm sitting on the heel, yogi toe stand. The thigh is parallel to the ground. So from the side, it looks like that. So we're facing the long end of the mat. And then this extended foot might turn towards the sky. If it's easier for you with the foot down, keep the foot down. It's easier for whatever reason with the hips, for the toes to face up, face it up. This is a variation of Skandasana, and then the play here is the balance. The work is a stretch on that foot and this inner thigh, but the play is the balance. So no worries if you have to reset or your hands never leave the ground, that's all right. The next place to put them would be on the thigh, maybe heart center. For this variation of Skandasana, deep side squat. Then we'll gently release our hands down to the mat. Walking, or so we're pivoting over here for the toes to face the short end of the mat. We'll release the left knee towards the left wrist, crossing the foot towards that right hand. Doesn't matter if it touches or not. Mine doesn't. I've seen very, very few people. I think I've seen like one person my entire life where their foot reached their hand and their knee touched the wrist without their like hips being compromised. So don't get too hung up on that. You just want to walk this right foot back, back, back to bring the hip close to the ground. So my hips are square to the ground here. I untuck the back toes, pressing top into the top foot hard enough with the knee lifts just to reset. And then I walk my hands back, trying to get my shoulders up over my hips. So you feel a deep stretch here in this front part of the thigh. Right hips pulling, pressing forward, left hips pulling back for this proud pigeon pose. Breathe in here. So even if on one side, even if on the other side this wasn't available for you, still check out to see if you can play on this side. And if you could on the other side, it doesn't work on this side, that's all right too. We're working towards treating both sides balanced, but that's not just in yoga class, like that's in the rest of our lives too. So that takes time. So what am I talking about? I'm going to tuck this right foot under and bend in the knee. So nice and slow, just bending in the knee to see how far up we can get it without any assistance. And then the right arm reaches back to grab the foot. You can begin to bring the foot in towards the body. All nice and slow. We want to keep the stretch in the belly of the thigh, not in the knee. And avoid sitting down onto this left butt cheek. Very tempting. Even for me, I just did it. That's how I'm remembering to tell you because I just did it. Sitting down on, we don't want to sit down there. We want to keep the hips still square like pigeon pose as we press this foot in. Once again, we're looking for that edge. So if you get to the point where it's taking your breath away, just back off a bit. If you want to play with that balance, working towards that mermaid variation. Let the toes hook into the elbow. Left arm scoots forward and up. Reaches over. Fingers hook. And I'm pressing my head into my arm is pressing into my head. And that helps give a little shoulder stretch too. I'm really opening up my pectoral muscles, chest muscles here, as the foot kicks into the elbow. So often tension is what we're trying to get rid of or kind of release in yoga. And so, but a lot of the times we're using tension to our advantage in this practice to get deeper into a stretch. So that later there's a deeper release. When we release, nice and slow. No slingshotting out. Let the hips, hips sink down. So now we are sitting onto this left butt cheek. We're going to cross this right leg all the way over, dropping the foot to the outside of the left knee. Now I'm going to try and get both my sits bones onto the ground. So easy for my left one, it's already there. Not so easy for my right one, so I'm really trying to get this sit bone to sit on the ground. Okay. Hands can be on the knee to sit up tall. Right hand comes down close to the spine. Inhale, left arm sweeps up. And exhale, we're twisting to the left, to the right. So elbow hooks with the knee or hugs in. You can hug it in or hook and press away. I like hooking and pressing away. Just helps me bring my left shoulder forward and pull my right shoulder back. Imagine your spine like a spiral staircase, spiraling from base, through middle, through top. And then the very last thing is the head can turn, but don't get too hung up on the neck. I'm really focusing on this posture, Matsyendrasana, from the shoulders to the hips. So we're still breathing fully, even in the contortion of the twist. Your lungs will find new areas to fill up. One more deep breath here. Return back through center, and both hands just come down on the opposite side. So you don't have to turn, I'm just turning so you can see. It's a counter stretch, but I'm not actively pulling or anything, it's just passive breath in the other direction. Awesome. Then we'll uncross the knees, drop the knees side to side. All right. Next time the knees fall over to the right, let's just bring it into, right foot steps forward, left foot steps back for runner's lunge. Then we'll drop both heels back and walk to the center. Bring your heels into alignment with one another. So there's in one line. Big toes are facing the long side of the mat. Yeah. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, we forward fold. So if your head is hitting the ground, bring your feet in closer. You grab opposite elbows here. We're going to do ragdoll in this standing wide angle fold. Give the head a shake no. Grab opposite elbows, creating a frame for your head. You can just give yourself a rock side to side. Breathe forward and back. Just a little free movement here. So it might feel good to release the arms and bring them forward, almost like a downward facing dog. But I'm just on my tip, like the untented fingertips. Move back so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Just to give my back a stretch. Show you from the side. Now walk the hands back. Pressing into the feet. Press it all the way up to stand. We'll heel toe the feet in together. Awesome. And here, let's just begin to give it a shake. I wanted to keep the class really low to the ground today, but I do want to keep a shake in the practice. So, where is? Just want to see if No, we're good. Cool. So, bringing a bounce to it. Shake out one leg, other. All right. And my shoulders rise and drop, rise and drop. And just lifting up the heels and allowing them to slam down with bent knees to create this jiggle, this shake. I've been breathing and leading you to breathe in and out through your nose this whole time, but now you can actually exhale through the mouth. Audible sighs are invited and encouraged. So just allowing the body to shake here. The lymphatic system in our bodies helps rid our bodies of toxins and waste. But unlike the circulatory system that has a pump that pumps liquid through to clear it out, that's your heart, the lymphatic system does not have a pumping system, so it relies on movement to function properly. So this shaking helps drain the lymphatic system. It can also help relieve tension, helps build muscle tone in quite a gentle way, considering the alternatives. Can also help interrupt pain processes in our nervous system. So this is used as treatment for people with fibromyalgia, because it interrupts those patterns being sent to the head. So when you feel like stopping, just double time. So we've been working up all year for the last 3 months towards 3 minutes. And we're there, baby. 3 minutes is the recommended amount of time, minimum amount of time. So just got 1 minute left in this practice, guys. Less than that, honestly. You can really let the shoulders flop. That's what I like to do because I carry a lot of tension in my upper back and my shoulders. This is a great way of letting go of little mini traumas or upsetting things that we hold in the body. For example, when dogs get into a little scuffle at the dog park, when they realize what they've done, they just shake it off. This is the same kind of thing. This is this opportunity to really just shake off whatever upsetting thing. Maybe we don't even remember what it was. That thing that happened to us. 3, 2, 1. Right, we built up some nice heat there. And we'll move into this breath of joy. So it's a 4-part breathing technique. It looks like 3 sips of air into the nose. And a big ha out through the mouth. So no exhales between the inhales. Just in, ha, out. On the inhale, arms sweep up. Second inhale, arms sweep out. Third inhale, arms sweep up. And on the ha out, arms sweep back. So just mindful that you're not going to hit the wall next to you. We've got 10 of these, just about. So, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha, ha, 3 left. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! make it count. Ha! Feet come nice and wide, hand on your belly, hand on your heart, eyes can close. Let's take a moment here to arrive and observe. Taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. And now we stop to view where that glitter dust settled. What was revealed? What shows up when you allow yourself to take up space, to be loud? And what shows up as resistance to stop you from fully participating? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. Eyes can gently blink open. You might take a sip of water, towel off any sweat that might have built up. And then if you're on the ground, stay there, we'll meet you there. If not, you can come down with me. We'll meet at the back of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down to the ground, knees bend deep, 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 so deep that you come to seated. Well, right leg stays extended out. Bend the left foot in. Foot comes to the inside of the right thigh. And knee just splays open like a tree pose. And the heels pressed away. Hands come to the sides of the body, like just behind it, to give your spine a nice, tall, deep breath in. And exhale will hinge forward, belly, chest, head. It's like you're trying to get your belly, chest, head to your foot. Janu Shirshasana for head to knee pose. Wherever the hands reach is just fine. You don't want to be pressing down on the knee. To get the leg straighter, you just flex the heel even further away. And that's going to bring the back of the knee closer to the ground. I'm pressing into my hand right now. I do that by engaging the top of this leg, not by pressing the knee down. If you do have something to grab onto, just notice your left shoulder is going to want to pop up so that your right hand can reach. But just bring that shoulder down to the same height, same distance from the ground as your left shoulder. So show you from another angle. This is what usually happens. See, my left shoulder's popped up so that my right hand can reach the foot. But instead I want to even out, so I'm bringing the shoulder down. That means this shoulder has to come up a bit. It might mean that this hand doesn't reach the foot anymore, that's okay. The goal here isn't for the hands to reach the foot. It's for the stretch in the back of the leg and the stretch in the back. The back muscles. So don't get too hung up. Even the forehead to knee part of this posture, it's almost more of a chin to shin. So just because your chin is moving towards your shin, just because your hands are reaching towards your feet, your chest is reaching towards your thigh, just because that's the direction that we're heading in, it doesn't mean that that's the goal. The goal is to find the edge of your stretch, the edge of your flexibility, and breathe deeply there. Pressing into it with every exhale can deepen you into the posture. Walk it back.
extend the left leg long, and the right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. Hips are still square, facing the short end of the mat. Hands come to the ground, close to your lower back. Inhale, get nice and tall. And exhale, we hinge forward. Belly, chest, head towards the toes. Belly, chest, head towards the toes. Now, mindful, it's this right shoulder that's going to want to pop up so that your left arm can get more reach, but pull that right shoulder down. Keep the shoulders the same distance from the ground. And remember to straighten out this left leg. I'm actively pressing the back of my knee into my hand, into the ground below, by flexing my heel and engaging the top part of my thigh. One more deep breath here. And walk it back upright. So I'm going to bring this knee, bend this knee and bring this foot to the outside. And then bring this foot to the outside. So I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm seated. Okay, in between my heels. Mindful that your knees let you do this. So always listen to your knees over my voice. Your knees are a more important voice than mine in your life. So my hips touch down to the ground without a problem here. I don't feel it in my knees at all. If anything, I feel like a stretch on my ankles and the tops of my feet. That's great. If you're like, oh my effing god, my knees, there's no way, then you want to be seated on top of a block and you just want to be breathing here, or on top of a blanket and you're just breathing here, feeling the stretch in the ankles, on tops of the thighs. If you're seated here, like, okay, no problem, what's next? I'm going to bring the hands behind. And if you still got space to play, you can lower down one elbow at a time. So I'm going to take a breath at each part, just so you can really see that you actually are okay, your knees are okay, and all of that. And if you still got space, you can lower down to the shoulders. Reach up overhead for a full body stretch, and then grab opposite elbows, just like we do in our ragdoll, creating a frame for the head. So you're breathing here, giving the tops of the thighs and the hips a stretch. Deep ankle stretch. Opening up the tops of the feet and ankles today. As I reflect back on it. So we just got one more deep breath here. And then, like pressing rewind, we'll uncross the hands from shoulders. We press up onto elbows. You can go one at a time. From elbows, we press up onto hands. Then you extend the legs out. Give the legs a bit of a shake. Then we're going to roll back nice and gentle. Make sure there's nothing behind you, no dogs or water bottles. Give your knees a hug in and roll it side to side, lower back massage. And then knees come over to the right and they land. Left hip stacked over right hip. Right hand lands on top of left knee and the left arm opens up like the letter T. I'm going to press this left shoulder down to the ground. even if it means lifting up this left knee. Gaze can even look over that extended left arm to complete the spinal twist, Supta Matsyasana, supine spinal twist. Head comes back up through center, knees come up through center. Gently roll the legs over to the left, stacking right hip over left hip. Left hand lands on top of right knee, and the right arm opens up like the letter T, pressing this right shoulder into the ground. Doesn't matter if the knees touch or if they touch the ground. Everything else is relaxed in this posture. We're just allowing breath and gravity to do the work for us. We'll bring the head up through center, bring the knees up through center, and just notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or stretch that your body's asking for as we prepare for Shavasana, final relaxation pose? So all class we tell our body what to do, and then we just ask back, is there anything left that would really round out this practice, have it feel satisfying, and easier to rest? I'm often drawing comparisons between Shavasana and sleep, but I'll do it one more time here at least. And it's like when you lay down to bed and you think, oh, I haven't done enough, it's hard to fall asleep. So this is your opportunity in the yoga class to feel like, yeah, I've done enough. My body can lay silently and relaxed. Alright, once you're ready, you can release your legs down the length of the mat. Feet land at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest. Hands release down by the sides, palms face open. A symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. If laying flat on your back, you don't want anything behind your head, just flat on the ground. Laying flat on your back brings any pain to your lower back. You can bend in the knees, bringing the feet nice and wide, knocking the knees together for broken bridge pose, and tucking the hips under, elongating the lumbar spine, the lower back, to relieve that pressure. Traditionally, it's with the legs down the length of the mat, but you do what works for your body, with eyes closed or looking up towards the sky with a gentle gaze. I'm going to go up to seated so I can play you some singing bowls, as well as more easily guide you through this. And we'll start this Shavasana final relaxation pose the same way we started our grounding meditation with. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Shoulders stay relaxed this time. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. And tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Symbol of chitta vritti, monkey mind. And just invite that monkey to sit this one out. All the muscles of the lips and jaw relax. Nose and nostrils relax. Allowing breath to travel in and out like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. Muscles surrounding the ears, with all their wrinkles and folds. And deep down into the ear canals, all rest. Muscles of the back of the head and top of the head relax. The throat and neck rest. Shoulders melt away. Tops of the arms and elbows relax. Forearms and wrists release. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, all rest. Integrating all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back. Rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Chest and belly naturally rise and fall with the breath. Hips, pelvis, glutes relax. Thighs and knees melt away. and ankles rest. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Feet and legs rest heavy. Upper half of the body relaxes. Lower half of the body relaxes. Right side, left side, front side, back side. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Notice if in your mind, if even for one moment, that inner dialogue quieted. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more, nothing less. As you gently invite your inhalations to become longer and deeper than your exhalations. Fingers begin to wiggle and toes can begin to curl. Head can gently rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Let your knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center. Today we practiced series of postures that opens the hips and the tops of the thighs, quad stretches. First namaste, I said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste, I said out loud to one another and everyone that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined today. I appreciate you. I hope you found something that serves you. Oh my goodness, where's my leaf? I was trying to not laugh during reading yours. I try not to even read the comments when I'm leading through meditation, but I like let my eyes open and I saw like you trying to sing along with the singing bowl via text. I almost died. Hilarious. Namaste, Bodhi. R2R007. Hello, could you tell if you know, of course, possible dangers of folding lotus position without a long warm-up? Hopefully you're still here. Thank you, Bodhi, for explaining it. And I try really hard not to answer just to lead the meditations without reading the chat so that the people who are in Shavasana can have like a moment of peace without feeling like they need to, like they're missing something. So if you're still here, so I think there are positions that are, especially like the more advanced positions, that take like a certain level of flexibility. Once you've worked up to them enough and they don't feel like a position, they're just like a pose that your body naturally goes into, that's fine. But so the dangers of going into like folded lotus without having warmed up would be messing up your knees or pulling something in your hips or groin. That would be really unfortunate, and that could definitely happen if your body's not ready. Even with a long warm-up, you might just like, your body just might not be ready to go there. Oh shit, I thought Lucy was a sweater. Oh no. Oh, in the corner, she's like a shadow. That dog's a ninja. So it's the same dangers as any other pose that your body's not ready to go into. You could definitely like pull a muscle or twinge a joint. But yes, we don't force ourselves into anything. But also, I'd just like to say, even if you're really, really warmed up, your body might just not lotus position. You're like, there's not like, it doesn't really, it's not that it doesn't matter. Warming up is important, but just because you're warmed up doesn't mean your body's going to do whatever you ask it to do. So we just want to be kind to where we're at in our bodies, in our practices. And the other thing is, you don't always need to like warm up for lotus. Like, you can sit in half lotus at any point in the day without worrying about pulling anything or injuring anything, because eventually your hips are just open enough to kind of get there. Mine are not open enough to get into like a full lotus without like really like working towards it. But we're all at different places and working towards different things. We definitely do positions that would help you get towards a lotus pose in class, but we're definitely not like on a fast track towards that or anything like that in this class. Like how some people's heels will never touch the ground in downward facing dog. Yeah, this is the thing about hip flexibility. So there's flexibility to be found in your glutes and in your thighs, right? Like in the muscle, but your hips are a socket joint. So it's like a cup and a ball. And how deep of a socket that is gonna tell you how deep of a stretch you can get into with certain hip positions. You know? So what's it called? So if your hip is really deep, if your femur is really deep inside that hip socket, you're never gonna get a center split because you're gonna hit bone against bone. It doesn't mean you're not flexible. It just means that your femur is like really deep into the bone, which is actually better for you later on because your hips will be more stable as an elder. But that's besides the point. Actual question here. All right, hit me. I do 27 sun salutations every morning. Good for you. Does the pace matter? If I rush through them, does it take away from the benefits? Yeah, okay. Pace, it depends what your goal is. So, yeah, so Bodhi, I'm imagining you doing like a high intensity interval training interval. Yeah, totally. So, if you're trying to build strength in the body, 27 sun salutations are actually burpees. In which case, you're gonna get a bunch of benefits from it, because you're gonna get a bunch of muscle benefits from it. But if you're trying to get, but if you're like practicing it for yoga, like it depends what your intention is behind it. Go Cloud, hello, happy Wednesday, long time. It has been a long time no see. Welcome back to the stream, my friend. I've tried nose breathing. Like I will get 12 before I have to mouth breathe. It's like a secondary thing. Yeah, totally. So if you're to the point where you're like you can't get enough oxygen into your body through breathing through your nose. Two things there. Check that you're breathing into your belly and not your chest. Because we are literally in class, we are reprogramming our bodies to breathe through the belly instead of through the chest. Because chest breathing is actually shallow. But in the beginning, we're so used to breathing in and out through the chest that it feels like to take a deep breath, you need to lift your shoulders. But if you're lifting your shoulders to take a deep breath, it's a shallow breath every single time. So we're working on expanding the bellies to get that deep breath in. So that, and then in that case, like you'll be able to do all sorts of physical things, just breathing in and out through the nose to get those deep belly breaths in. It's like a secondary thing, mobility. So mobility is your goal, is what you're saying. Or am I just being a pussy? There's nothing wrong with being a pussy. Should I stop at 12? No, I think that it depends on your form. Like I would stop at 12 if like your chaturangas or your push-ups, however you want to call it, are getting sloppy. That's when you want to stop. But I think that I would slow them down. I would connect it to the breath, I think. I wish I could see you because then I'd be like, all right, how do you usually do it? And then I would just like let you know, like give you my feedback because I can't see it. But because I can't see you. Also, so on Facebook, I can see when people sign on and somebody signed on at the exact point when I was like, nothing wrong with being a pussy. And then they signed back off. So perfect timing, team. Good timing, Twitch team. I feel like I'm just rushing through the reps. That's if you feel like you're rushing through the reps, likely that's what's happening. At a certain point, Bodhi, I love you. Is this benefiting or am I just wearing myself out? Yeah, I think that I'm sure it's benefiting you because you're, Jesus Christ, I look like Midoriya from My Hero Academia. I think that the benefit is in the fact that you're moving, so that's good, like you're getting your heart rate up. But there's going to be more benefit in you slowing down and mindfully moving through, what is happening here? And mindfully moving through the movements. You know, like 12 feels good. I'm like 27, fuck that. Well, how about 15? I don't know. I mean, if 12 feels good, then do that. If you're doing it for mobility, if you're trying to add mobility into your body, you don't need to max out and need to take like a shower and a nap after. You know? The middle path. I like it. Yeah. 15. Yeah, because you're getting like a full body stretch through that and slow down the breath in and out through the nose. So connect one movement to an inhale, the next movement to the exhale. Soon your 12 are going to take as long as your 27 took anyway because they're probably going to take twice as long. Add a rep when it's easy. Yeah, if you get to 15 and you're like, I still have a lot of energy, or my body still wants to move, then keep going. I'll say also, you just need to be consistent. Yeah, exactly, Bodhi. I will say also, I was trying to time my breath with the movements through my nose. Okay. That's great. That's what I would suggest. So is what's happening is that your breath is getting shorter, so the movements are getting faster as you progress because it's taking more physical effort. If I don't do the breathing thing, I get way more reps. Yeah, sure. But it's like self-limiting. Well, yes, limiting your movement to your breath, you're giving yourself some parameters in which to work. And without like jumping from posture to posture, you're going to have a better chance that you are in the right actual alignment and you're not going to accidentally injure yourself. Besides, when you do things slower, it actually uses the smaller controller muscles in those transition phases. Yeah, exactly, Bodhi. That's a really good point. So you're going to be building up these like smaller, but equally important stabilizing muscles in your ankles, in your shoulders, and all of that get passed over when we're doing big explosive movements. Feels like I'm actually doing yoga instead of going through the motions. You have to hold each position. Versus, yeah, burpees, which they're like really good for you when it comes to fitness. But you can get the benefits that you get from a burpee, from a sun salutation, plus the deeper breath, plus the mindfulness, plus the like hiring of serotonin, lowering of cortisol, all that jazz, all that good stuff. Good for you. How many days are you in, or how many are you just like? Is this just like ongoing as long as you feel like doing it, or are you doing like a 30-day challenge or something? Yeah, minus the explosiveness. Yeah. Yeah, we don't do like explosive movements in yoga in my class, right? So I'm not speaking for yoga teachers everywhere. And that's not because explosive movements are not great for your body. Super about it. Like I love HIIT classes and I love running and I love jumping and all of that stuff. However, in yoga and the way I like to practice and the way I like to teach, like I say, momentum is not our friend here. Like slow, mindful, purposeful, but then we get to like lymphatic shake, right? So then we get to just like shake it out and just like build up some heart rate, It's more accessible, and I think like explosive power is awesome, but it's really hard to teach through video. Like I can't see you guys, so yeah, I don't know. I wanna stay focused on, yes, mobility, flexibility, but I don't want to get too hung up on the fitness part of it. Even though I'm on like the fitness and health channel, I want to focus more on the mindfulness part, I think. Feels like I'm actually doing yoga instead of going through the motions. You have to hold each position minus the explosive. Okay, every day, sorry. I'm running something called the Great Gamma Protocol. Overpriced, ridiculous, but it's a decent program. Okay, it's an overpriced, ridiculous, decent program. Okay. Does look expensive. Oh, Bodhi, you're already familiar. Wow, I'm out of the loop. Okay. I wouldn't have done yoga if I didn't do this program, I will say, as pricey as it is. The only program I have stuck with for the longest amount of time. Well, good for you. We all have different motivators, and money is a big motivator for a lot of people. So sometimes we have to do that for ourselves. I totally get it. You're more health than fitness. Yeah, that's what I think, Bodhi, too. I mean, I think that yoga, the classes that I teach are part of a like healthy lifestyle for sure. But if you're looking for, like a six-pack or whatever, or like big bulky arms, like you're gonna have to lift.
Where's my lift? I also lift. Yeah, you're gonna have to lift. Like, if you want to like up your cardio, you're gonna have to run. Like, you know what I mean? So and all of that jazz. So I definitely don't want to give people the wrong idea when they come to my class. Like, will you be building muscle? Yes. Stabilizing, and improving balance and flexibility and mobility? Yes, yes, yes. But I always just want to be clear, like, it's like those breakfast cereals from the 90s, like part of a complete breakfast. Like, this is only part of a complete fitness regimen. So like I want us to feel like very clear about that, you know. I just feel that I love lifting. I miss the gym. I miss the gym too. Lifting is like my main goal, I will say, for context. Where's my leaf? Oh, okay, great. Well, when it comes to lifting, breath is so important. So I think these sun salutations for you, Leaf, is going to be awesome for you to be able to connect what you learn through the breath work in yoga with what you're doing lifting later, like in the rest of your practice. Keshav, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Hello, friend. Bodhi, my goal is to demolish a watermelon between my thighs so I can crush my opponents. I love it. Yes. Oh my gosh, Bodhi, Daydream got banned on Twitter because he told somebody that his glutes were so strong from running or something like that that he could crush a skull like a walnut. And Twitter banned him for inciting violence and threatening the person. There's no safe spaces on the internet. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Sean Mano. Which exercise do you recommend me to do? I want to start doing yoga. Oh, well, come through, my friend, because the class I teach is all levels, and beginners are super, super welcome. Quite a few, I'd say maybe even half of the people who take class regularly here, what's it called? It's their first time, or they're just beginning to do yoga for the first time. So definitely come through on Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, same time, same place. You know, because it depends where you're at, like what your ability is, and all of that jazz. So it'll be easier in the full context, but you know. Keshav, are you promoting people to do you are promoting people to do yoga as noble as you? Oh, thanks, Keshav. I don't know about that, but I aspire to teach something of value in people's lives. So if I can bring something a little bit, you know, different, but important, then that's great. Sean Mano, are you still here? Are you still just wondering? If you're still here, I can give you a couple moves. But I'm not sure if you left the room, if I read your comment too late. So let's see, it's already 10:15. I have a call in 45. So you guys, today is the last day of March. Shamana, you are here. Okay, cool. So let me give you a couple moves. So a great place to start is with spinal health, Sean. So there are 6 movements to the spine. And if you just start with that, this is going to be a great place for you to start. So there are, like I said, 6 movements to the spine. So to the right, side bend. You can do this standing or seated. I like seated. Side bend to the left. So I'm keeping my hip on the ground and reaching up over. Then there's a twist to the right. So you can bring your hands up overhead, drop hand onto the knee, other hand down on the ground behind. Then you twist your spine by opening your chest to the side wall. Back to center and over to the left. So that's 4, right? Bending left, bending right. Twisting left, twisting right. And then the last is a back bend or forward fold. So you could do that through still seated, just to keep it simple. So you inhale, tilt the chest up,
arching the spine. I'm trying to get my arm out of the way so you can see. Arching the spine up. And then round, tucking chin in towards chest, rounding the spine on the exhale. So open, back bend, forward fold. So those are the 6 movements of your spine. Side bend left, side bend right. Twist left, twist right. Back bend, forward fold. And then there's just so many, so that was just from a seated position. You could do them all from the tabletop. That would be your cat and cow. Your twist would be just up towards the sky. And then just moving your spine like the letter C. So it's almost like I'm trying to get my shoulder to touch my hip as I press my ribs in the opposite direction. So a lot of yoga and a lot of movement in general is based around those 6 movements. And that's a great place to start. The deeper you can get into those positions and breathe fully, the deeper you'll be able to get into all the more advanced positions too. But just that is going to bring a lot of mobility into your body. And I say like the other pose that it's like if everybody had to work on one pose only, it would be like a deep squat. So that's just with my hips heavy, my chest light, heels are touching the ground. If your heels don't touch the ground, you just place a towel or a rolled up like mat below you. So your heels can be pressing into something. And yeah, that's where I'd start. That's where I would start. All right. Let's go say hi to our friend Mom. That's not how you spell it. Cool. So I'm gonna go raid Mum, say hi to Gatina, his cat. And it's the last day of our month of March. So I'll see you guys on Sunday, same time, same place, for our Sunday, Easy Like Sunday morning yoga class. You're all invited, of course. Bring your friends, bring your moms. Real talk though, I love when you guys bring your moms to my class. It makes me feel like very validated. Okie dokie, have a good day. I love you, Bodhi. Thank you for being the best mod ever. Yes. Yeah, I think tips did drop in early. I appreciate you for dropping that in. I appreciate all of you guys for showing up, for tipping, for all of that jazz. I'll see you, Sean, Kesha, Leaf. Who else is on here? Greg, I think you were on here earlier. All right. Bye, my friends. Oh, sorry.
3-9 Tiger, what's up?